Hi YouTube family, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be super real with you guys in terms of my fears and my anxiety and everything like that. When I was searching through YouTube and currently I'm going through like a fearful and anxious situation, and I'll talk more about that. But whenever I was looking on YouTube, there was a lot of how to deal with this, how to deal with stress, how to deal with anxiety, and stuff like that. And I feel like there's no way specifically to deal with it. Like, whenever you are fearful, whenever you're anxious, there's not one way that you can just get rid of all of it. Or there's not really a way that it just disappears forever. You're always going to struggle with stress and anxiety. I know I have always struggled with it. And I feel like I want to be honest with you guys and open about telling you guys that I'm not perfect and I do get scared and I do get anxious, and letting you guys in on my life, and also showing you that I haven't dealt with it. Like, I have not, just prayed a prayer or have just, suddenly not feared anymore. And so I just want to share with you guys how I manage my stress and my anxiety, instead of just telling you, here's what you do, deal with it, and move on in life, because that's not how it works. So hopefully I can let you in a little bit about my stress and anxiety, and you can connect with that, and then also it can help you manage your stress, manage your anxiety, learn how to handle it in a healthy way instead of kind of just blocking it out and trying to deal with it. So yeah, let's get started. So currently I am really fearful and anxious because my husband will be leaving me for 2 months soon, and after he gets back, I will be, we'll be together for about a month, and then he'll go on deployment. And so it's like really quick. So I total have about a month left with him. And so there's a lot of fear going in my head because I live in a new state, and I'm wondering, do I go home? Do I stay here? Do I go and have support with family? Or, I've established a community here. Is my purpose to stay here and, get a job or, live life like I'm supposed to? And there's just a lot of like fear running in my head, and I already have a lot of like just anxiety in general. And I just get anxious for no reason. People with anxiety sometimes just get anxious for no reason, and they don't even know why. And so I already struggle with that, and I'm just struggling with all this fear. Three of the top fears that almost everybody struggles with, especially military wives, is fear of loneliness, fear of rejection, and fear of the unknown. If we start with fear of loneliness, like, I have so much fear of loneliness. And not only loneliness, but fear of being killed or being attacked or being like, something. Because I'm a woman, first of all, in a new state. And even if I wasn't in a new state, I probably would have that fear because I watch a lot of SVU and I watch a lot of Criminal Minds. And I know the truth of the world. I get really, really scared and really, really fearful, especially when he leaves me for like a week or a day, like even a day. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I better lock every single door. I better lock my bedroom door. I better have a gun right beside me and a knife right beside me, because if anybody comes in, I'm killing them. And I get so, so scared of being alone. And I think loneliness scares me too, because God made us to be relational. He made us to talk to people, to, laugh with each other and everything like that. And I have all of that here. I have so many friends. I have friends that live down the street and so many friends, but the thought of coming home to an empty house, I don't want to do that. I don't want to have to do that. And it's just so scary because I think that's what's driving me to not know if I should go home or stay. Because I know there are a lot of military wives that just stay at home and wait for their husbands to come back. But I struggle with loneliness so much that I'm like, I'm just going to go home. I'm just not going to stay here where I could possibly have like a career or, make more friends or anything like that. And so I know loneliness is hard. And so I don't really know of a way to manage loneliness. If you want to put down in the comments how you manage loneliness, that would be great. Something that I'm trying to do to manage my loneliness is just know that I'm never alone because God is with me. And to say that, though, it's really hard because, I've told you guys that I'm a Christian, but I'm just going to be honest with you. Like, I'm not perfect. And I feel like sometimes I think I have to be, but I know that I'm not. And I'm human, again, like I said. So there are times where I'm like, okay, God is with me all the time. He's, right beside me. He's going to take care of me. He's looking down upon me, and he is going to protect me and everything like that. But then my human side comes out, and I'm like, I'm going to get attacked. I'm lonely. No one's here beside me and everything like that. And so it's a battle. It's like, if you're not a Christian, it's a battle because if you don't have God, then it's literally just you. And so I really want to hear from the people who aren't Christians, or even if you are Christian, you can put something in the comments, like, how do you deal with loneliness? Because the only way that I know how to is that God is right beside me and he's always protecting me. And so that's something that I really, really struggle with. So the next thing that I struggle with is fear of rejection. And I've, struggled with this my whole life. In my testimony that I kind of shared with you guys, it streams from not having a good relationship with my dad and kind of having to fill that place with other people. I need to feel like I'm wanted. And just in society in general, it's created this society that makes us feel wanted. On the internet, you post a selfie, how many likes can I get? And so it kind of streams off of that. I want to feel accepted, and I don't want to feel rejected. And something that happened today before I made this video that kind of like clicked in my head as me knowing that I'm afraid of rejection is I found out the other day that that someone on my husband's ship, he's like a chief or something, he lives right next door to us. Like, we literally share the exact same wall. And so whenever they go on deployment, his wife is going to be over there, like, by herself. And immediately I was like, should I go say hi? No, I shouldn't. I shouldn't go say hi. She's probably doesn't want to talk to anyone. She, like, just gone and on and on and on and on of things that probably aren't true. And I think the fear of rejection is really hard with military wives because it allows us not to step out of our comfort zone. It allows us to stay isolated and not go and meet people who are other spouses, not go and, volunteer or, make friends in the community or whatever, because we're so afraid that those people are going to reject us. And so it creates this loneliness at home, waiting for your husband to come back. And it's really hard. And so in a way, how I manage that fear of rejection, obviously I'm going to have to kind of build up confidence to go talk to her. So definitely pray for me or, do something and to help me with that confidence because I want to make friends with her. She literally is right there. I could just walk outside my door and I'm there. But one way that I have always managed my fear of rejection is there's a verse in the Bible that says, what can mortal man do? And it's so simple. It's such a simple verse of what can mortal man do. It's amazing how we are so afraid of people, but we're not afraid of God. We are so afraid of these mere human beings who could literally do nothing to us when you're thinking about eternity. And so something that I like to say to myself is, what can mortal man do? And that helped me a lot through college because there was a class that I had to take on presenting. It was marketing, and we had to do presentations about businesses and how to grow a business and everything like that. But we had to do a presentation every 2 weeks. And there was our name was drawn to do a presentation. Sometimes we didn't do a presentation if you didn't pull our name, but most likely everyone was going to do one every 2 weeks. And the very first presentation, I was like, my name is something, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes I don't even know my name when I'm standing in front of people. But I've slowly gained more and more confidence talking in front of people. Talking to a video camera is so easy for me for some reason, but talking in front of people is so, so hard. So whenever I would stand up there, I would literally walk down the stairs to the presentation place, and I would say, what can mortal man do? What can mortal man do? What can mortal man do? Just to gain that strength of scripture. But there's also just there's also other ways to deal with fear of rejection. But I think the key in all of this, like whether you're saying scripture, whether you're not saying scripture, is just to know that people are just people, and if they do reject you, move on. I think the idea is just to not, like, I still struggle with this, you guys. I still struggle with, like, the next door neighbor. But I think the idea is to just, if she rejects me, oh well. I'm still me. I don't know, like, I'm just still me. And kind of going back to another rejection case, whenever I lived in San Diego, there was a company that I worked for. I ended up working for 3 months. And I was afraid that they were going to reject me because I was only going to be there for 3 months. And I talked to someone at the church, and I was talking with them through it. And they were like, who cares if they reject you? Like, you are getting that experience of interviewing. You were getting that experience of dressing up, going, presenting yourself in a way that is professional. And if they say no, then who cares? And at that moment, I was like, who cares? I care. But really, like, who cares? You are never going to see them again. You may, because it's a very small world. But who cares? Like, it's not that big of a deal. And people with anxiety like me, we think about those things, like, on and on. Like, I think about stuff. I think about conversations that I've had, like, a week ago. And I'm like, I could have said this differently. I could have said this differently. And it just sucks sometimes. And I think my husband will just tell me, like, who cares? Like, why are you so worried about that? And at first it makes me mad because I'm like, I care. I'm worrying about it. Let me do this. Let me be anxious. But then I think more, and I'm like, he's right. Why do I care? They're not thinking about it. So why am I thinking about it? And so how to manage rejection or the fear of rejection is just think, who cares? Like, step out into a awkward place, and just in those awkward places, you're going to grow so much, and you're going to become this person who eventually is comfortable in those awkward places. But until then, you're always going to be fearful of rejection. And again, you might always be fearful of rejection, just a slight bit, because everyone is, but at least you will grow in that aspect. And I think that's something that, like, I'm telling you guys to do this, and I'm also talking to myself, because I can't even talk to homegirl next door. So yeah, let's just grow together in this. So the last one that I was talking about and that I have a fear of is fear of the unknown. And this goes across the board with military people and just everyone. But specifically in my situation right now, it's through the military, because I don't know what I'm going to do. I honestly have no idea if I'm going to stay, if I'm going to leave. And it's crazy because God keeps opening up these doors. Like, there's these people that are saying, if you stay, you can have a job here. Like, I'll give you a job. And then on the other hand, I'm like, but I don't get the support of my family, or I don't, have people that live with me and I get to talk to, before I go to bed. And so it's just like, it's hard because in these times I want to trust God. I want to, and I encourage people, like, if that's easy for you to trust God, like, I love you, teach me how to do that and pray for me in order to be better at that. And I know that sometimes I am good at trusting God. I know that there are times where I have pushed through it and I'm like giving you all the glory because I had no idea what was going to happen and you came through. I know there are times like that, but there's this time where I'm just like, I don't know what I'm going to do, because we have to start packing now and we have to start getting things ready, and he's going to be leaving soon for the 2 months. And so we already have to tell our apartment that we're going to be leaving so we can tell them in advance. And I'm just like, what do I do? Do I stay? So I'm just like, it's so, like, fear of the unknown is so, so hard. And I totally get that. Something that I've had to do is just not worry. I ask the Lord just to guide my steps. Just guide them. Just do something. Just do something. Just do something, because there's nothing I can do at this point. Like, all you can do sometimes is go with the flow. And being a person who likes to plan, it scares me. I'm so scared because I think, again, what am I going to do? What does the future look like? I don't want to make the wrong decision. And I know a lot of you guys talk to me about boot camp, and you just like ask all these questions, and you're like, am I going to be able to write him? What am I going to be able to write him? How do I know where to send these things? All of these things. And luckily you have all the answers. Like, I'm giving you all the answers, and you have other people on the internet that are probably sharing those same answers. But sometimes you just have to slow down. And that's what I'm trying to do. Like, I am literally, it takes all of me, all of my being to just slow down, because I just like go. I go and go and go and go and go. And I don't know what to do. So I'm just like you guys. I'm in this like fear and anxious season right now, where sometimes I don't have the answers for fear and anxiety. And I want to tell you guys that, I do stuff like I pray, and I try to remember scripture. I have to just pause and everything like that, but it doesn't always work for me. And because I lose sight of who's in control. Like, I'm not in control, obviously God is in control, and I lose sight of that, and I try to do me. Like, what can Brittani do that will make a difference? And he reminds me that I don't know the future, so why am I trying to know the future? But then Brittani's like, I know the future. I can write out the future in my head and then plan accordingly what my head says, and it's just a mess. So I'm just really fearful and really anxious for everything. And last week I cried every single day because I didn't want my husband to leave. I'm trying not to cry right now. I told him that I didn't want him to leave, and he said that he had to, obviously, but it's just hard. It's really hard. I totally get how hard it is to not know what's coming, to not know what's going to happen in a year, because they're going out to sea, and you're just like, what am I going to do? How is this going to work? So, sorry guys. So yeah, it's hard. And now I'm rambling because I'm crying. So I'm with you guys. I'm totally with you guys. And I want you guys to know that. I want you to know that I'm not just a person on YouTube who knows all the answers, because sometimes I don't. Sometimes I am just as fearful and anxious as you guys. And it's hard. It's really hard. And something that I also just remembered that I wanted to tell you guys is God uses the word fear 365 times in the Bible. And so he uses it once for every single day. And that's not an accident, because he knew that we would be fearful and anxious every single day of our life. And every single time that he uses it, he says, "Don't fear, for I am God," or "Do not fear, trust in me," or "Do not fear, be courageous," "Do not fear something." And I try to cling on to those. I really, really do. And I want you guys to cling on to those too. And to know to not fear, because there is an amazing future that God has planned for you. Whether or not, you think something's going to end up bad, he might plan it for good. But sometimes I forget that too. And so I want to remind you guys that I'm human, that I fear, that I'm anxious, and I'm Christian. And still I fear, even though I know that my God is so faithful. So know that it's normal. Know that it will be okay. And I'm telling myself that too, that it will be okay. But again, those are my fears and my anxieties. Sorry, I cried. I'm just really emotional, you guys. I have just been so emotional, because it is emotional with them leaving. And I don't I don't want to be fake with y'all. So it is really, really sad. So just pray for me, or, send me kind words, or tell me your experience. This is our first deployment. So send me an email telling me your experience and how you handled it. And if you have a similar thing of, should I stay or should I leave, definitely let me know that also. Any advice is helpful. So I hope you guys like this video. I definitely need your support. So definitely kind words, emails, anything would be really appreciated. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and comment below on any future videos or kind words or anything like that. And be sure to subscribe to my channel, and I will see y'all in a future video.